Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to this amazing special edition episode of Hit Talks Live. Now, this is the edition of episode that I am able to sit back and enjoy because Hit Talks have got an amazing new host that is going to be hosting this special edition. So Carlyle is taking over. Carlyle is taken over from me as the host. Carlyle has found his own 8 speakers that are going to be sharing with you their messages of hope, inspiration, and transformation in 8 minutes each. So I can sit back, as I say, and enjoy it and just soak it all in. So I am really super excited. And if you're new to Hit Talks, again, welcome. This is the platform where we bring together people from all over the world. There is no selling, there is no positioning, there is just stories from the heart, stories of hope, stories of inspiration, i.e. hits. And then when the messages just come through and they come through fluidly, through love from the heart, this is where we can actually make an impact and how we can touch lives. And it's just so magical. Hit Talks was given to me as a download back in February 2020, and we have been spreading these messages of hope, inspiration, and transformation since then. It is all about the power of 8. It's all about affinity. It is all about abundance. And when you actually feel it, when you actually hear it, you will know what I'm talking about. But before I continue talking, because I can talk forever and ever and ever, I am going to invite, I've lost my words because I'm so excited to sit back and relax and enjoy this episode. So I'm going to pass the stage and pass my baby of Hit Talks across to Carlyle, where he can actually take center stage and share with you his 8 speakers of hope, inspiration, and transformation. So Carlyle, I'm so pleased that you're here. I'm so pleased that you've got this opportunity. Now enjoy it.
Hi, Vicky, and thank you for that warm introduction. Thank you also for the fantastic honor and privilege of being able to take your baby and carry and spread the message to the world. This evening, we're joined by 8 amazing speakers who are all going to be sharing their own perspective and different stories on the topics of hope, inspiration, and transformation. My name is Carlyle Latty. I am your host for the evening, and I'm just going to invite you now to sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself. The first speaker that we've got is a young lady here in the UK at the moment from French Guyana, an amazing coach. Stephanie's been an international model. She's appeared on hit television shows. She's done amazing work as a coach with athletes. She's co-authored 2 amazing books, one, Rejection to Redirection, and also another book on leadership and mindset called Unstoppable Courage. She's an amazing young lady, and I have the pleasure, I know I've said that twice, because she is amazing, and I have the pleasure of handing over to her now to give you her story of hope, inspiration, and transformation. Stephanie, over to you.
All right. I'm laughing because, wow, that was a very nice introduction. Thank you, Carlyle. So ladies and gentlemen, hello. Thank you very much for this moment. So my name is Stephanie. Yes, I come from fashion, entertainment industry, and mainly today I'm a life coach in those industry. So I work with the creativity of the people, from the successful people to the less successful, every levels. And mostly we only have 8 minutes. So for those 8 minutes, I want to focus mainly on what I love to talk about the most. And what you need to know is that I'm actually originally from Guadeloupe, not from French Guyana, what he said. The Guadeloupe island is as well a French island. So you know my accent, where it's coming from. And I apologize if you don't understand everything that I said. You know, I speak 5 languages and I'm still working on my English. I will make it, I promise. Anyway, so what I want to talk about is hope, mostly about hope, and mostly about telling people that there is still hope, even today, even with whatever we're going through those days. I know this is tough. I know we're living in a world where everything seems to be impossible, even at the point where even if you want to have a normal life, you struggle to get it. I know this is complicated. However, there is still hope. However, you are still amazing. You can still make things happen for yourself. And I pick up exactly 5 habits. I pick up 5 habits that you, ladies and gentlemen, need to stop and give up in order for you to become successful. So here we go. I'm going to try to manage those 8 minutes. I'm so excited. But here we go. Those number one of those habits that you need to give up to become successful is stop being afraid of failing. Anything you do in life, if you're not succeeding, it's okay. This is actually how you're going to make it in life. Don't give up. Keep going. Don't be afraid of failure. Failure is the mother of success. I'm going to say it again. Failure is the mother of the success. The more you're going to try it, the more you're going to get better at it. And what happens when you get better at something? You just rock it. You rock it and you feel like you're unstoppable, right? So, and I'm sure what I'm saying is not something that you are discovering, right? Normally you learn with life and you understand. And actually some people never understand as well. But the fact is that the more you will do it, the more you will make it for sure. And I have still 4 to go, 4 habits to go, and only 4 minutes. So I'm gonna stop talking too much. The number 2 is negativity. Negativity, you gotta give up. Get rid of negativity, okay? When it comes to your thoughts, what you're thinking about, when it comes to your personal image, okay? You are fine the way you are. This is it. And you are gonna make it in life if you believe that you're gonna make it in life. It's like work on yourself. Instead of always going negative by yourself, always thinking negatively, always choosing negativity, go to the positivity, positive thought, positiveness. Yes, yes, I can. Yes, I want. Yes, I will make it. Number three of these habits that you need to give up in order for you to become successful in life, or even more if you already are, because I know sometimes you can just feel like you're stuck at some place. All right, you need to renew it. So the number 3 is applying the now mentality. What do I mean by that? Applying the now mentality means you say something, you do it. You want to do something, go do it, which means take actions. Here we go. Let's go. No more thinking. Nobody gets successful just because he think. Just because he think. Everybody think. Okay. Actions make the difference. Actions is what make a difference between someone who goes nowhere and someone who is actually leveling up. What I am right now, do you follow? I follow. Number 4 is stop listening to everybody else. Stop listening from everybody. You gotta know who to listen. There is people to listen, there is don't listen. But don't listen only those who goes to your direction. No, not just don't listen to people who think your way. Listen to those who actually gonna give you that mindset to succeed, who share your visions. Okay. People talk a lot. And most of the time, and I'm going to say actually for 80% of the time, it's because we're listening to others that our life doesn't go anywhere, because we keep listening. So listen to yourself. Listen to your soul. Listen to your heart. You are the one who know yourself better than anybody else. And you got to practice it. And I'm gonna make it before the 8 minutes. Last number 5, and this is the one that I want you to remember. This is the one who comes from my heart. Dream big, be passionate, and shine with your uniqueness. Dream big, be passionate, and shine with your uniqueness. Okay? If you want things to change in your life, take control of it and change it. Don't be afraid to dream big. This is how you're going to make it. It doesn't mean you're going to achieve it, okay? It doesn't mean that. But you will be even in halfway of it, and you're already going to have that feeling of satisfaction and happiness and being just where you belong. That's my message for today. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to remember that you are special, you are amazing, and use your uniqueness to shine. All right, I made it 8 minutes. Thank you, everybody. And I'm going to leave for the next speakers. Thank you. La, 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 la.
Amazing, 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 amazing. Stephanie, thank you so much. This is what I'm talking about, people. This is what I'm talking about. I was furiously writing notes down here. Fearing failure, drop that. Manage your negative thoughts and think positively, drop that. And above all, dream dreams, be passionate and shine. And speaking of shining, I just want to thank Stephanie so much for shining like the star that you are. That was powerful. I appreciate it. We appreciate you. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for being here. And as you talk, that last point that you said about being passionate, being like shining, being who you are, this next speaker is a master. Let me repeat that. Has a PhD, doctorate, MSc, BA, everything at shining and being himself. Jag Gill is somebody that I've had the amazing pleasure of meeting, right? In sheer coincidence. And when they say like attracts like, this man believes in just being the best that you can, not worrying about who else is doing what, not looking at someone else, comparing your day 5 to someone else's 55, basically staying in your lane, loving life and living who you are. So Jag, my friend, we're coming to you. Here are your 8 minutes.
I was busy being busy and not being me. Looking around at everyone, what did I see? Non-stop, on the go, people drained, tired and wanting to be free. Prisoners of our minds making up a reality that doesn't serve a purposeful need. I was busy being somebody else's version of what I should be. It's okay to adapt, flex to others around us, be that professionally or personally, being adaptable is a must. So why was I constantly busy being somebody else's version of me? Judgments, fear of failure, wanting to fit in and be accepted. It's hard to be someone else but me. Liberate and empower yourself to be free. You are the master of your destiny. Why wasn't I being me? Over the years, I have given people fragments and pieces of me, scattered throughout my life like the sweets in the Hansel and Gretel story. One day I woke up and realized the real me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Carlyle, wow, what an introduction. This is really interesting in terms of how I've got here. So as Carlyle mentioned, we were on a course a couple of weeks ago, a fantastic course looking at personality styles and how we're all different and we've all got something to give. And I didn't speak to Carlyle at the event. We didn't talk, we didn't engage. There was about 20, 25 people on there. And one thing led to another. We connected offline, and next thing you know, he said to me, listen, I'm going to host some talks. Would you like to attend and talk and share that energy and passion? And I was like, wow, I was very humbled. And it just kind of occurred to me as I got thinking about this, we don't know the impact we can have on people. Sometimes without realizing it, we're role models to people around us, but we'll never, ever know that. And you attract what you are. I'm a big believer of energy. So how you are, how you think, the energy, the vibrations that you give off, people will be either attracted to it or potentially stay away from it. And where the mind goes, the energy flows. And whatever we start to think manifests and grows. And, I thought to myself, Carlyle doesn't really know me. He's never seen me deliver. He doesn't know what I do kind of in day to day. And I thought, wow, he's taken a massive leap of faith here, right? This whole blind faith got me thinking, are we a society that's now caught up in knowledge, evidence, research, and articles? Have we lost the ability to have blind faith? And you know what? I took a call this morning from a very angry individual. And it took me about half an hour to calm this individual down. This individual was Spider-Man. Yes, you heard. Spider-Man phoned me and he said, listen, Jag, I'm really disappointed with the human race. He said, people have lost touch with their instinct. People have lost touch with their spidey sense. Because actually, maybe the greed for knowledge, information, qualifications, having all this super knowledge, knowing lots of things, we think is going to make a big difference. So, he was okay. I've reassured him by the end of today's amazing talks. Listen, he's got nothing to worry about. And then it got me kind of thinking further on about being genuine. So I'm a massive believer in just being yourself. Knowing who you are, what you're about, what are your strengths. And we're so busy being busy that we don't look internally and see, well, what are my strengths? What do I bring to the table? What can I do? What can I give back to people that will make a difference and add value? And sometimes we're scared. We have this fear of being judged or, maybe not being accepted. And you know what, folks? It's draining, right? To constantly be a slave to other people's views on us is massively draining. And we're in a fast-paced world, right? The hamster wheel doesn't slow down, does it? And this whole competition of wanting to be the best is fantastic. But often we're comparing with the wrong people. And whilst it's good to compare yourself and set high standards and benchmarks, it can also be very dangerous as well and can actually make us kind of feel negative and disappointed in ourselves. So, some people are so busy looking at the neighbor's garden and looking and admiring the flowers, the grass and the plants, that actually they forget to water their own garden and grow their own flowers and plants. So for me, I just think that my message is really simple. Be who you are, be quietly confident what you bring and what value you can add. And sometimes that takes a lot of time. Sometimes people, dive straight inwards and actually figure that out for themselves once they shut off all those distractions. And the other word you would have heard in what I said early on was being busy. We seem to be using this word busy as a badge of honor. I see a lot of people, talk to a lot of people, and, often the conversation starts off with, yeah, I'm really busy. How are you? Yeah, I'm really busy. And I just kind of think to myself, oh my God, dare I not say I'm busy? what am I doing then? And I think sometimes it's important because actually it's about protecting our time. It might be a signal that says actually back off because I've got stuff to do, which is fine. But when we overuse a word, we devalue it. And the same goes for time. The amount of people you've probably heard today or this week who said, oh, I haven't got the time, I haven't got the time. Folks, we will never be in the luxury of having enough time in the world. That is a never-ending battle, and a battle we're probably not going to win. So for me, it's about understanding these throwaway words that we use daily are actually making a massive impact on our mindset, our energy, how we feel, our overall well-being as well. And these labels that we use can be like boulders and handcuff us. So for me, look, it's really simple. Well, it sounds simple enough. Catch yourself. Be a master at catching yourself in the act. Whenever you're going down a rabbit hole, you're thinking something that isn't really going to help you. So, and that takes time, that takes conditioning, and that takes a lot of practice as well, but it can be done. So I'm going to invite you all to really take a step back and think about the words we use. And a couple of final messages from me. Your first emotions and thoughts don't define you. You have a choice. Think about hindsight, not hindsight. The narrative that you use makes a big difference. And I read a quote which was along the lines of, flowers do not look at each other and compete. You know, flowers don't sit there and go, well, I'm going to be brighter than you, I'm going to be bigger, and I'm going to smell better than you. They just are. They just do their thing. So, you know, I'm going to leave you with those thoughts. Do your own thing. You know, be confident. Be what you're about and be proud of that and be engaged with whatever it is you're doing. So they're my messages to you all, folks. Thank you for tuning in. It's been an honor. We're going to see some fantastic speakers today. Over to you, Carlyle.
I am being absolutely spoiled here. Spoiled rotten. My mind is being fed, my heart has been watered. I hope yours is too. Jag, you said some things there that are so powerful. That knowing that we are impacting people are paying attention to what we're doing. We're leaving positive impacts in the interactions that we have, and we don't even know it. And vice versa, it can work in the opposite way. So just being cognizant of our presence and the magic that we have, that is so powerful. And I just love your message in terms of be who you are and be confident in that who you are adds value. I absolutely love that. Jag, thank you so much, and I really appreciate you. Now, this next young lady is someone that is, I know I keep using this word, amazing, amazing, amazing. But if you find yourself in having gone through a storm, or you're in a storm right now and you need to be grounded, Emma Jane Cross, that is exactly what she does. She literally helps you get rerouted. Emma is a business coach and a spiritual growth coach. She's a lady that wears so many hats, creative beyond belief, and words aren't enough for me to describe what Emma's about and the things that she's done. Again, she's an author. She's originally from Wales and she lives in Denmark, and she's a Viking general. Yes, you heard me. She's a Viking general. So Emma, I want to hand over to you. The floor is yours, my queen. Here are your 8 minutes.
Wow, what an amazing introduction. And I have to say, you guys are blessed to have Carlyle here tonight. We've met on the same vibe, on the same path, and this is a man that just serves. So I really, really thank you, Carlyle. And I'm so honored to be with you tonight. And I was thinking all week about what I wanted to say to you. And I think I'm kind of vibing a little bit with Jag tonight, because tonight I want to talk about your superpower that aligns with this hope, inspiration, and transformation. And I thought, as a coach, you know, I have all these different hats and all these different tools. What can I do in 8 minutes that is actually going to allow me to reach somebody? And I thought the bottom line is really my own journey of hope, inspiration, and transformation, because that's what I wanted to share with you tonight. So when I was a kid, you know, when you had the birthday candle, you had the birthday cake, and you would make a wish. And my wish was always the same wish. And it was the wish to be happy. I just wanted to be happy. I just wanted to have a happy life, which probably tells you a lot about my life at that point. So I had this pursuit of happiness as a foundation of something that I've looked for in my life. And what I've discovered through my life is that it's not about pursuing a goal of happiness, but enjoying the journey of life, enjoying the moment of life. And I think this is where one of the most important lessons that I've learned in my life is about hope, and how hope can be passive and how hope can be active. So as I'm a storyteller, I wanted to share a few stories with you to see how this really works and how this can help you on your transformation journey and use your superpower, which we'll come to in a moment. So what do I mean by passive hope? Well, passive hope was a little bit like that wish that I did when I was a kid. I wished to be happy, but I didn't really put a lot of action into it, more than just being a kid. And there's a fantastic joke story that goes about a man that wanted to win the lottery, and he would go and pray to his God every day and say, please let me win the lottery. Please let me win the lottery. And he never did, until the day when his God turned around to him when he was saying, please let me win the lottery. And the God turned around to him and said, please, my son, go and buy a lottery ticket. That is what I mean by passive hope. When we passively hope like that and we're wishing it out in the universe, it's fantastic, but it's not helping with our transformation. It's not bringing the power of inspiration, transformation. Active hope is best described in a quote, one of my favorite quotes, where hope is about being able to see that there's light despite all of the darkness, or as Dumbledore says, that happiness can be found in the darkest of times if only we remember to turn on the light. And I think that is one of the first parts, the keys to a transformation journey, is being able to see in a dark time, like this time we've had with COVID, like periods of our life that Carlyle was saying is the storm. You know, we're in that storm, we're trying to figure things out. The first step to transforming it, the first step to growing, to having that happy life, to achieving that happiness and enjoying each moment of the journey, is to look for that light, to look for the things that are good in there, to look for the gratitude, to look at what is beautiful despite the storm around you. And that is really where you start to root, because you start to see there is something good here. But talking about the dark is a time that I see as one of the most inspiring times we can have in our life. You know, we've just been through this insane year and a half where everything's turned topsy-turvy. You know, people's lives have been in turmoil. There's been so many things going on that are really just pulling us apart, pulling apart our normal, which I think is actually very, very inspiring, because the darkness in my own life has really been the place where I've learned lessons. So to give you a story about this from my own life, 8 years ago, which is what sent me on my journey of becoming a coach, becoming an author, was a very hard part in my own life. I was homeless in a foreign country. My partner had left me. I had to have a kidney removed. I had absolutely no money. I'd completely fallen on my bottom. And, you know, it was the worst situation that you could possibly be in, you know, to live in a foreign country, miles from home, with 40 quid in your pocket. And it was in this moment of darkness that I looked at this pattern. This is a repeating pattern in my life, in my past, of being homeless and losing everything and sort of going down this road and surviving again and going through this storm and the roller coaster. And I looked at this time and said, no, do you know what? Now I'm going to stop looking at this from a point of view where I'm passively hoping. I'm going to look for the light. And when I found that light, I found the lessons that this pattern had been teaching me in my life. There's lessons that said, you know, this is where the universe had been trying to speak to me, been trying to talk to me, to say, there is something more here you're supposed to be doing. It had been throwing these experiences at me for me to learn. And what I realized in this moment was that I hadn't been loving myself and honoring myself and aligning with my own root and aligning with my purpose. And I'd been drifting through passively hoping that life was going to get better. So I saw that pattern. I drew this line in the sand. And that is when I applied my superpower. You might be thinking, well, what is a superpower and how do you have it? How do I get one? How do I get my Spider-Man suit? Well, you've got it within you, because the superpower I'm talking about is choice. Choice. We have this power as human beings to choose how we respond to situations. And we've seen that with COVID. We've seen that throughout our whole lives. You think about it, the choices you've made, you've chosen to respond to those situations. I could have chosen to stay a person living on the streets. I could have chosen to go back to the England. I could have chosen to continue that pattern, that negative pattern. But I chose in that moment, from the inspiration of the lessons that I saw from actively looking for life, I chose to say enough is enough. And I'm going to reroute within myself. I'm going to find what is true to me, and I am going to transform my life. So I see hope. If you're looking for this, the happiness of life, you feel like it's gone, first and foremost, remember, my friend, that the storm is not your enemy. There's a wonderful saying that I love, which is, if you want to get the treasure, you have to find the dragon. Well, I see it as, if you want to find the treasure, you maybe have to get to understand the dragon. You have to learn about the dragon. You need to learn how to walk with the dragon, dance with the dragon, sing with the dragon, get the most beauty out of that part of your life, and use the choices of how you respond to that to be the transformation, the catalyst for the transformation that happens. What I believe is that everything we do in life, we're here to grow. We're here to evolve. We're here to transform. We're here to grow and evolve continuously, because that is the point of this journey that we're on. So if you, my friend, are looking for happiness, if you are looking for some hope, inspiration, and transformation in your life, then look for the light within the darkness. And when you find that light, look for the lessons that it's teaching you. And when you find the lessons it's teaching you, then you get to exercise your superpower. You get to choose how you respond to that and allow that to be the catalyst for your transformation. So this is a very brief story from mine that I could go on and on. I forgot to press the timer when I first started, so I think I have about 30 seconds left. But the last thing I think I want to leave you with tonight is, please remember that throughout the storms, throughout the light parts in your life, you are the root, you are the center of that journey. And when everything seems to be going chaos, if you're looking for the light, if you're looking for the hope, you're looking for the inspiration, the transformation, go in here first. Go in here with your heart. Find what is right for you, blood, skin, and bone. Make that choice. Look for those lessons. Look for that light, because that, my friend, is where you'll find your happiness. And that is where you will begin to enjoy your journey. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this spoke to some of you out there tonight. I'm excited to see the amazing speakers we have tonight. I've already been blown away. And I think that is my time on 8 minutes. So I think I've made it on time. I'm not entirely sure. I hope I have. Thank you for listening. Remember to reroute in yourself. Look for that light, that lessons, and that choice, and enjoy your life's journey, because that's what it's all about.
Perfect timing. Emma, thank you so much for that message. You know, as a coach myself and as a business analyst, I do one thing and one thing only. I help people realize that there is a choice and they have agency in being able to take action. There is a car, there is a driver's seat, there is a steering wheel, and they have the choice to sit in that steering wheel and go in a new direction that they want to go in. So Emma, thank you so much for that message. We appreciate you, and thank you for being a part of this journey. Now, this next man, this amazing holy man, is an award-winning actor. He's an author. He's out on the opposite side of the world to me now. He lives in California, and I've got when I say about intention and putting it out there and looking at cultivating the right energy and the right circle, right? Circling the wagons with people that are going in the same direction and the same journey as you. Benson Simmons is someone that I've got the pleasure and the privilege to co-host a room on Clubhouse every Thursday, British summertime, basically playing the lead in the movie that is your life. And that title, at first I didn't think about it, but it is so powerful, because this is a movie, this is a live production, and we are here one time only. This man is so committed to helping people feel their feelings, understand their feelings, and move from a place of being anxious, depressed, confused, to a place of power and action. And this is why I am so honored to know this gentleman as a coach and as a speaker. So Benson, we're coming all the way over to sunny California to you for your 8 minutes.
Unmute. Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Camera. Okay, just checking to see if you can hear me, holy folks. Getting on, I'm assuming it's all good. Good. So thank you, Carlyle. Carlyle is such an amazing soul. I'm so blessed to be here with so many amazing speakers. So, start the timer. So my story begins, I grew up wanting to be an actor, a writer, an artist. And for some reason, my mother got it in her mind that I should be, ready, a dentist. Now, it's not like in high school, not that, no offense to dentists, but it's not like in high school I ran around, reading books like The Joy of Dentures. Okay, that's not what I was doing. But somehow she got it in her mind that that was my life destiny, to be a dentist. So obviously we were at odds. And I got my degree. I ran away to New York, became an actor. And even when my career was doing well, every 3 months, like clockwork, she would send me applications to dental school. I kid you not, in the mail. So I want to tell you about one particular time when my career was just going nowhere. And I hadn't worked for months. And I got an application to dental school in the mail. I thought, you know what? Maybe this is it. Maybe I should finally just give up and do it and apply to dental school. And I remember I had on my fridge, written on my fridge, anything is possible. So you know what I did? You know when you have those times where you take on God? And I'm like, God, you know what? If I'm supposed to be an actor, then I want to have an audition for the lead, not a small role, but for the lead role in something right now. So there. And I want it in like 2 hours. You know, you just tell off God. So I'm waiting. An hour goes by. 2 hours goes by. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to toss out all my resumes. And then the phone rings and it's my agent. And she tells me that I have an audition for a lead role in a commercial playing an Irish fisherman. So of course, I'd done a play playing James Joyce. And also in America, they don't know an Irish accent like you Brits do. You could just go, oh, tator, and how might you be doing, Mr. O'Flanagan? And they'll think that that's perfect, right? So I knew I had that down. And then at the time, you were not supposed to dress up in full costume for a commercial. You're just supposed to kind of, approximate the character. I was like, no, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to throw myself 100% into it. And I only had 2 hours to get the audition, to go get to the audition. So I was like, okay, I run around to all my neighbors and I get the big, heavy, ugly, galoshes, right? And the jacket and the suspenders and the big, goofy, yellow fisherman's hat. And I'm thinking, okay, I got it. I'm ready now. And I'm in the car and I'm driving like something's not right. Something's not right. God, what's not right? What's not right? I need something. What do I need? I need a fish. I need a fish. That's what the divine told me. I don't know why I thought, well, yeah, I guess, I should walk in with a fish and say, here's my catch of the day. So of course I'm in a swanky neighborhood where the audition is. I have no idea, how am I going to find a fish? I drive by. I see a little delicatessen, and yes, in the mirror is a beautiful big fish. So I go in there and I'm pleading with them in my whole costume. Please, I need this fish. No, I don't want to sell it to you. I had $60 in the bank, and I said, I'll give you $50 for that fish. And he's like, okay. So the only catch was, I wanted him to wrap the fish in saran wrap so that you could see it. No brown paper, but you could see the fish when I walked in. Fine. I'm just have enough time to get the audition. And I get in my car, it will not start. And I am 14 long blocks away. And so I just have to, with my fish and my galoshes and my stupid hat, I'm jogging, running. And of course, it's this area where everyone's wearing Armani and looking at me like, what are you doing? I finally get to the audition. I get up to the casting director. She's like, oh, just go in already. And I run and I'm go, oh, hello there. I'm Benson and this is my catch for the day. That's why I'm late. And here it is. And I put it down on the table. And at an audition, there's always a long table with the director and the producers and the advertising people. And so I put the fish down, I stand there. And right across from me, there's a guy with red hair, and he picks up the fish, and he gets this really mischievous look on his face. And I don't know what's going on. And then he looks over, and 2 women over is a blonde woman. He's like, And she's like, don't you dare. And this happened. I am not making this up. He gets up and he starts chasing her around the audition room with this fish. Apparently she's terrified of fish. And then she comes behind me and is like, don't let him come near me. I'm like, you've got to stop. Stop there right now, Mon. Do not come any closer. And so finally, I actually lifted her up on a chair behind me and said, stand back. Now stand back, sir. And so then he gives me the fish and he goes down and sits down. The woman goes down and sits down behind the table. At this point, I say, well, you know, I think I did my accent. Would you like me to audition now? He's like, no, we've seen enough. I'm like, oh, crap. And then the woman, the blonde woman says to me, get that fish out of here now. I walk out. I don't know who that woman is. So I ask the casting director who that woman is. Well, turns out that woman is the big producer. And the casting director says, if she doesn't like you, you will never work in this town again. I'm like, oh, great. So there I am. I am walking out back on the street, the fancy area with my whole regalia on, holding my fish, thinking I have $10 to my name. I'm thinking, I'm trying to look at the bright side. Well, at least I can eat fish for the next week. And then my agent calls and I'm like, oh man, oh, this is it. She's going to dump me. She must have heard about this. Pick up the phone and she's like, what did you do? I'm like, I don't know. What are you talking about? She's like, did you take a fish into your audition? I'm like, well, you know, I might have. Big pause. And I'm like, okay, give it to me. Fire me. And then she comes back and says, they loved you. You got the part. She said, how would you possibly know that the director and this producer have this ongoing thing about fish and he loves scaring with them? And she said, in my whole 20 years of being an agent, I have never had an actor book a part within 5 minutes. And then she said, I guess anything's possible. Anything is possible. That's what was written on my fridge. Anything is possible. Why am I telling you this whole story? To get you to realize, one, that anything is possible, and two, what did I ask for? I didn't ask for a small part. I asked to play a lead. I wanted to audition for a lead, and that is to inspire you to realize, do not play small. Do not ask to play the small part. Step up and play the lead role in the movie of your life. And the funny thing is, we think we have to audition. We actually think that we have to audition. What's an audition? Getting people to approve of you for the part. You got the part. The divine gave you the part to play the lead role in the movie of your life. And all you have to do is step in, throw yourself into it out of love, the same way I did. And the divine will bring you what you need. If you need a fish, the divine will bring you a fish. Whatever you need, the divine will bring you. So know this, I believe in you. The divine believes in you. And deep down, you believe in you. And you know that when you step up and play the lead role in the movie of your life, anything is possible. I think that's my time. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's my alarm going off. That's it. 8 minutes. Ding, 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 ding.
Benson, man, do you know what? I absolutely love you, dude. The energy, the passion, the conviction, and the truth and sincerity. And I know for a fact that every word of that story is true because I know this man and we speak to people all across the world every week, week in, week out, and he never ceases to amaze me. Now, Benson, one of the things that you said that I absolutely loved there, and it's the same conversation that I had with my godson who's on the verge of playing professional football. I gave him some work to do. He didn't do it. He came back and I said, listen, how long are mediocre results and not doing the things that you need to do to get to where you want to be going to be acceptable to you? He looked at me and for the first time, he really got it. And then all of a sudden he did all the work that he needed to do. And he came back and he changed the questions. He started to think about, what is it I actually really want? What does it look like? What do I need to provide for the team that I go to? Like, what is the problem that I can fix? And he really, really got it. So there is no point in playing small. It's the same amount of effort and the same amount of graft that you got to put in to achieve a small dream as it takes to achieve a big one. So you might as well just go for it and go for what you really want. And speaking about going for it, learning about lessons the hard way, this next lady, she is instrumental in any room and space that she goes into. She is somebody who I've watched and I've learned from, that when you enter a room or any space, you walk with your chin parallel to the ground and remember that you belong there. She was also the one that helped me understand that fire is hot and yes, it burns. And once I burnt myself, she was still the same one that would comfort me and console me as a little boy to understand that, yes, you should listen. And sometimes things will happen in life. It's going to be painful, but you'll get through it. And that young lady's name is Courtney Elaine Lewis. And I know all of these things because I get the privilege to not only introduce her as a keynote speaker tonight, but as my big sister. I love her dearly. Courtney, here are your 8 minutes. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, little brother, if I can say that. Hi, everyone. My name is Courtney. My story of hope, inspiration, and transformation began a few years ago when I was diagnosed with a rare brain tumor called olfactory groove meningioma, a tumor that grows in the membranes that surround the brain and spinal cord. In the medical field, it is described as a tumor, and I quote, with a very insidious course. It proceeds in a gradual, subtle way, but with harmful effects. Tumors in that location forms along the nerves that run between the brain and the nose. Patients do not typically exhibit symptoms at the beginning. As it grows, it can cause loss of smell and taste, blurred vision, memory loss, headaches, severe headaches, fatigue, nausea, seizures, vomiting, and personality changes. Treatment depends upon the size and the rate of the growth, the patient's age, and overall health. In my case, my neurosurgeon recommended I have an immediate craniotomy. Based on an informed decision, I went ahead and had the surgery. Surgery was removed. I remember the first time I saw myself in the mirror, swollen face, a partly shaven head, and that was wrapped in bandages. I cried. Everyone knows a woman's hair is the first noticeable part of her beauty. At my first post-operation visit, my neurosurgeon confirmed that because of the location of the tumor, I may have lost the ability to smell and lost my peripheral vision. That line of slightly direct in front of you. Yes. Before my diagnosis, I was living the life of a mother, a successful teacher and trainer, administrator in the healthcare field, event planner, someone who had a passion for life. Entertaining, cooking, sewing. I was a people person. Words that I don't quite like, but adjectives that previously described me overnight became one word, disabled. I was now an occupational risk. I could not smell. Despite the tumor being successfully removed, there would be some long-term complications. Not being able to smell, it affected my taste. I was a foodie. I was born in a Caribbean cosmopolitan country where we pride ourselves on being able to cook and enjoy the cuisine of several cultures. Can you imagine not being able to smell the rain, the morning dew, the flowers you loved? I felt alone, but was determined to persevere. No more long-distance driving, which I enjoyed, but I could ask for help and be driven, fly, or take public transportation. I continued to cook, but I needed tasters. My children, and especially my grandchildren, enjoyed being called grammar helpers. That meant the helper was rewarded with several generous samples of the favorite cookies and food. My recovery meant not seeing myself as a failure or less than. Yes, there were challenges I had to overcome, but I had made a choice to have the surgery and knew of the possible risk. This experience would make me into a better person. Time to pick up where I had left off and reinvent myself. Life happens and it can completely turn your life upside down. But we all have a choice. I certainly had made mine. Some days are better than some, but it could be worse. I continued to recover. Subsequent visits to my doctor confirmed my fears. I would not return to work as I knew it. The ifs and maybes were now a reality. When I made a decision to have the surgery, it was also meant having a clear idea of what to expect during and after my recovery. Returning to the job I did before was out. Accompanied with that is the fear and lack of understanding of others, who can make sometimes returning to work after illnesses even more difficult. Having to explain to family and friends when asked, how does it taste? Do you like this perfume? Or a simple statement, that smells so good. And I have to say, I cannot smell. Anyone who knows me know I'm fiercely independent. Get up and go, A-type personality. Not a bad thing. I'm passionate about the causes I champion. That's where hope comes in. Being hopeful made me want to get better. I called it living until you die, wanting and believing things will and must change. Even in the worst of situations, I had work to do. I did not intend to be a statistic because I wanted a better future. I knew I had to start taking steps to get the results I needed. A little at a time, but eventually bigger steps to make bigger changes. You know, as we live and breathe, we all have the ability to hope. It is a God-given gift, but it's up to every individual to use their gifts as they wish. I'm surrounded by an amazing village of people that includes family and friends. Carlyle is one of them. The joy of watching my children growing to remarkable, not perfect human beings, getting married and raising their families, which meant I am a grandmother, I'm a great-grandmother. But they all have been a joy. I still cook, but I have tasters. I drive, but short distances. I have accidentally drank bleach. I cannot smell, but I can live. I can be hopeful and look forward to each day with great expectations. I'm inspired by the miracles I see daily, and I like the person I'm becoming. Yes, it is a work in progress, similar to the journey of the butterfly's metamorphosis. Isn't that what transformation is all about? It is a race. It is not a race, but a journey using the tools and gifts of hope, inspiration, and transformation. Thank you. I think my time is up.
Sis, that was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Living until you die. You said that, and that really moved me, because the thing that all of you see now, you've seen a really polished, sweet version of my sister. But let me tell you something. Get on the wrong side of she, and you're going to see a different person altogether, boy. Let me tell you. Now, don't listen to me. I'm just playing around. But the thing with Courtney is that she has shown me how, in spite of the rain, just like Emma said at the start, in spite of the challenges, get to know your dragon and just keep calm and carry on. And I really love that saying. And talking about living until you die, this next young man, I feel, embodies that exact speech. He is one of those people who, he walks a talk and he talks what he walks. Right? He is not somebody who doesn't have the life experience to back the role that he does as a leadership coach, as a mentor, as a consultant. Michael Dua is another amazing speaker that I've got here. He's such an empathetic, powerful speaker that really, really knows how to help you understand and tap in and feel what he's trying to get you to know, think, and do at the end of all of his talks. I'm so privileged to know this young man, and I'm looking forward to hearing from him now. So, Michael, over to you.
Hey, thank you so much, Carlyle, for that incredible welcome. It's such a privilege and honor to be with you guys this evening, and I'm so excited about sharing with you for these next few moments. Just a special shout out to those who've gone before me, and a big shout out to the last speaker, who was just so powerful, really moved me. So thank you guys so much. Hey, I want to speak to you from this thought called "There is more in you." There is more in you. I want to start off by asking you a question. This question, I feel like, divides families. It divides the universe. People all across this world have a debate about this question. This question actually has possibly caused wars, has possibly caused the breakup of friendships and relationships. And this question that I need to put to you today is this: what is better, Coca-Cola or Pepsi? Now, I'm going to answer this question for you. It's very simple. It's a simple answer. The answer is Pepsi. Pepsi is better than Coca-Cola. And if you don't like that, then that's your issue. That's a you problem. But for me, Pepsi is better. I love Pepsi. I love drinking a can of Pepsi. And what I find is when I'm drinking a can of Pepsi, when I come towards the end of the can, you know, when you're really thirsty and you begin to feel like you're drinking air, there always seems to be a little bit more left in the can when I put the can down. I don't know what that is. Some people might say saliva. I'm going to go and say that actually it's not saliva. There just happens to be more drops in the can. And it might sound like a silly example, but I believe it speaks of a powerful life truth. I believe that there is more in us. There is more in me, and there is more in you. That whenever we feel like we are coming to the end of ourselves, there always seems to be a little bit more. Whenever we feel like that we've hit a roadblock, or this issue in our life is too big for us, or it's too hard for us, I believe that there is more in you. Today, you might be listening to me speak and you're saying, no, Mike, there is no more in me. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm fed up. I'm finished. But I want to tell you that the very fact that you are alive and breathing tells me that there is more in you. There is more in you to give. There's more in you to go again. In fact, where you are at today, you weren't 5 years ago, you weren't 10 years ago, you weren't when you were 5 years old. You have consistently improved in your life up to the point that you're listening to me speak today. Now, here's the challenge. The challenge is that we get to a certain point in our life and we seem to plateau. We seem to give up. We seem to keep going on the same level. And I want to encourage you today that if you are plateaued, if you are dropping, I want to tell you that there is more in you. How do I know this? Well, I know this because scientists say this. They say that there is 99.9% the same we are in our DNA. That's what they say. But there's a 0.1% that determines 3 distinct factors about us. There are 3 features about you that nobody on the history of the earth, past, present, or future, has. There are 3 things about you that nobody ever will have. I want to tell you what they are. They are your retina scan, your tongue print, and your fingerprint. This 0.1% determines these 3 distinct features of you. This is powerful. This identifies you in a way that no one else is identified. I believe it speaks of this. Your retina scan represents vision and perspective. Nobody in the face of the earth has vision and perspective like you. There's nobody who can see things the way you see them. We need to hear your vision. We need to see your vision. We need to see things from your perspective. I want to encourage you today to share that vision. The next part is your tongue print. I believe this represents your vision, your message, what you have to offer and share with the world. Everybody has a voice. And sometimes, because of the way the world is, we feel silence and we feel like we can't share that. I want to tell you that you are born to roar. We need to hear your roar. You see, there's a difference between noise and sound. Noise is sound without clarity, and sound is noise with clarity. If we could learn to know that our voice is a sound, it is distinct, there is not a voice like ours, then we can make a sound in our universe, in our world, in our families that is unheard of before. The world needs to hear your sound. And last but not least, it is your fingerprint. Your fingerprint is your own unique touch and how you mark the world. There are ways that the speakers before me and after me will touch you that I cannot touch you. There are ways that they will mark your life that I can't mark your life that way. But there is a way that I can touch your life and I can mark your life. And that is important. You see, I believe that when we can understand these 3 distinct features about us, it allows us to see that there is always more in us. It allows us to see that we can go further. We can go beyond the situation and the circumstances that we are currently in. When we understand about these three distinct features, we will realize this, that there's no need for me to complain, there's no need for me to compare, and there's no need for me to compete. You see, often we complain because we think we don't have enough. I want to tell you there is more. Often we compare because we think that other people are better than us. When the truth is this, hey, you are the best version of you. Hey, I would be a terrible impressionist if I tried to be Jag. I'll be a terrible impressionist if I tried to be Carlyle. But I tell you what, I am the best Michael doer out there in the whole entire world. And as long as I continue to be me, then guess what? I will always see that there is more in me. There is more in me, and there is more in you. This is a truth that if we live by, can revolutionize the world that we are living in. I want to finish with a short story. And this story is about a little town called Little Santa Fe. Little Santa Fe is actually a town in America, in the US. And Little Santa Fe wasn't always a town. It used to be actually a camp. And what would happen is that people wanted to travel to Santa Fe. Santa Fe was this incredible town that promised all kinds of things: gold, a new life, a new way of living. And people would travel from wherever they were to Santa Fe, but they would stop off at Blue Camp 20. Blue Camp 20 is where you would stop and you would just take stock of life, and you would think to yourself, right, this is the last big push before we go into the wilderness between here and Santa Fe. Those 20 miles could wreck us, so we need to just take stock. And what began to happen is that people began to plateau at Blue Camp 20. They made the decision that actually maybe the wilderness isn't worth the risk. Maybe pushing out into the unknown isn't worth the effort. Maybe we should just stay here and get a trade. Maybe become a barber. Maybe become a locksmith. Maybe just build a life here in the small. And all of these people had great dreams, incredible dreams of what they wanted to see in the future. But they began to build a life there. Now, we know the wilderness is unknown. We don't know what's going to be out there. We know that it's going to be an incredible journey. We know that we could get bitten by snakes and all kinds of things. And these people made the decision to stay in Blue Camp 20, which is now known as Little Santa Fe. As I bring this to a close, I want you to know this. Do not allow yourself to die in a smaller version of a big dream you once had. Don't allow yourself to die in Little Santa Fe when Santa Fe is what you could have had. There is more in you, more in you to give, more in you to go again. My name is Michael Dua. Love, peace, and chicken wings, always. Thank you very much.
Come on, Michael. What are you telling me, Michael? That is what I'm talking about. This is why I love this guy. There was just so much there that at one point in time, my head just like froze up as I was writing, and I was thinking, this is now speaking and going right into my soul. Michael, I love you. I appreciate you, King. I rate you highly, and I thank you so much. People, this is why I do what I do, right? All I do is just basically help people see what is possible. And that is it. It is that simple. Don't be Little Santa Fe. Don't die in a washed down, rinsed down, diluted version of the dream that you had just to fit and appease those that are around you. Rather be the city on the hill shining, be that example. Michael, come on, you definitely killed it. Oh man, this evening, just when you thought it couldn't get better, this is what we're talking about. We're taking it from one place to another. Now, this next speaker, this again, when you put it out there, when you put it into the universe delivers. This next young man, I can't even begin to articulate and explain the work that he does at his organization. It's a not-for-profit called Second Chances. Dav does some of the most challenging work in providing housing, mentorship, education, employment support, and more importantly, mental health services for those that have been affected by incarceration. Dav runs the most powerful room and circle I've been ever blessed to go into. A circle called Black Men Healing. And this is a space where this is for men to go and talk about their feelings. And this is something that we've talked on, that he's been supporting me in doing this and doing the same thing over here in the UK. And I appreciate this guy for being the example of a man, period, of a man. Right, Dav, thank you so much, my brother. Thank you for being here. I'm going to hand over to you all the way again in sunny California. Dav, here are your 8 minutes.
Carla, I first just want to say to you and to the speakers, today was powerful. Like my soul is blessed, my heart is full, my spirit is full. So I really, really do appreciate all the speakers have gave before me. I wrote down so many things and so many nuggets. I'm always looking for opportunities to learn and ways to learn. And so I'm excited about this. I'm excited about this opportunity again. And so I just want to say thank you. This is an honor to be amongst so many beautiful, brilliant people. And so today for me, a couple of takeaways for people that I want them to be able to take away from what I have to give today and what I have to bring is about identifying the holes in your life, living with intentions, loving with intentions. And in addition to that, understanding the difference between growth and healing. Carlyle and I talked about this a lot. And so the first thing I'm going to do, I haven't read this or posted this at all. And so I thought it was necessary to bring it to this platform. This is a letter to myself that I wrote on New Year's Eve of 2020. So I'm going to read this to y'all really quick. It says, "Dear Dav, thank you for showing up in your life and for others in 2020 and in the past. Thank you for your continued work to heal the broken pieces of yourself. Thank you for your willingness to grow emotionally, mentally, and to continue to encourage everybody else around you to do the same. Thank you for continuing to be a voice and provide hope for those in marginalized communities on a daily basis and those that have been affected by this broken system. Thank you for continuing to elevate, encourage, build, connect, and to love others, especially Black men and women. Thank you for your willingness to continue to practice gratitude, vulnerability, respect, compassion with yourself as you move to the next chapter in your journey. Thank you for continuing to trust the God of the universe and listening with intentions. Thank you for always moving beyond the words and into action while exercising faith and trust in the universe. Thank you for being willing to learn and remain open to new ideas, information, and relationships. Thank you for being a person with great intentions and leading with integrity. Thank you for moving into purpose, being present, and adding value to every space you occupy. Thank you for being you in 2020. And so that was my first time. I haven't shared that with anybody, but that was the first time I wrote a letter thanking myself. I've written a letter to myself before, but I've never really written a letter thanking myself. And you'll understand why, but I want to tell you guys give you guys a quick background on me and some of the holes that I had that I identified in my life, and just some of the things that I continue to work through. Because again, like, healing is not linear. Healing is a journey, and it's how I got to this place here. But just a real quick story on me and my background. I grew up single parent home, parents divorced really young. I never really remembered my parents being together. Like, I don't have any pictures of my parents being together. And so my earliest memories of my parents that I experienced were traumatic. Like my experiences of my mom was abused every day of my life growing up by the same guy over and over, and she could never get away from him. And so that alone, for me, I didn't realize the trauma that it had on me, for me not only watching that, listening to that, and not being able to do anything about it. So it did a lot of things watching that grow up. I felt like my mom chose that relationship over me. I felt like that was love. That relationship to me seemed like love, because my mom would always say she loved him. So if she loved him, she was not going to leave him. And so to me, it didn't connect with me even as a child. I was like, how is that love like that? And if that's love, I don't want it. And so early on in my life, I decided that love was not something that I was going to participate in. Like, I made these decisions on as an early age, and that my goal was to try to survive life without love, because my idea of love was painful. And so as I went through life, my whole goal was to navigate from poverty and find a way to be successful, because I come from, again, like an abusive home, drugs, all these things were in my community, these are things that were around me. And so my goal was like, how do I get out of this? And I always knew that it was me and God. Like, if I didn't have anybody else, I knew God was there. And so in addition to my mom having challenges with my mom, my dad was not really there. You know, even when I needed my dad, he didn't show up. He didn't know how to show up. So I grew up feeling rejected by my dad, rejected by my mom, and my concept of love was all jacked up. And so as I navigated through life and went through all these relationships, messed up a lot of times, made a lot of mistakes. But the one thing I didn't do, I never ended up in jail. I never ended up with anything on my record. And so I'm the only male in my family, and this is sad to say, but this is common in the United States, that I don't have a felony on my record. And so as I've navigated through life, those are things that I didn't really realize and I sort of took for granted. But as I moved more into being an activist and activism, you know, I decided to go to therapy. And so therapy sort of been my journey of me like discovering these holes in my life and being able to identify these holes and where they come from. And so one of the main things that I've identified in my life, just in general, which I think a lot of people suffer from this as well, is that rejection was something that I identified with early on. And what that rejection made me do is feel like I'm not good enough. And so I spent majority of my life feeling like I'm not good enough. And so that letter that I wrote to myself was the first time that not only did I give myself permission to feel, but I loved on myself, and I gave myself some things that I don't need to get from anybody else. It was my first time having to do that. And so that's why this letter was so powerful. And it's crazy I hadn't posted it yet because of all the work that I do and spending time pouring into other people. One of the things that I have committed to, which I encourage everybody to do, is that in doing your work and in doing your healing, all these amazing people that are watching, the amazing people that are on here, the amazing people that are doing all this work, this spiritual coaching, guiding, therapy, counseling, make sure that you are doing these things and giving yourself these things, these same things that you're giving other people, because there is a such thing as working wounded. And we all work wounded at some point. I don't believe healing is something that just happens overnight. I don't believe healing is something that sometimes you don't ever really reach full healing. I think you only get the healing when you transition to the other side. That's peace to me. But I think there's always something to work on and always something to heal from. And the goal for me has been to continue to pour into myself as I pour into other people. And that has always been a struggle, you know, and it's been a struggle because even in doing the work and pouring into other people, I didn't feel like I deserved those things. And that was directly connected to my worthiness. And so some of the things that I've continued to do and I've continued to practice over the last 10 years is not only am I actively involved in therapy, which I'm a huge advocate of therapy, but I found other practices that I engage in, like Buddhism, meditation. Like there's things that I do to quiet my mind, to get me back to a space that I need to be in, and to, let me make sure I'm not over time. I am over time on that. And so I'll wrap this up really quick sorry about that. Sorry, Carlyle, I went over time, but I will wrap this up really quick is that some takeaways for people is to make sure you identify the holes in your life, make sure you pour into yourself, make sure you love yourself. I'll say that. I appreciate it, Carlyle.
Dav, one of the things that I love and I respect about you so much is you speak from this place of authenticity and you help us really sit down and think about the serious stuff. Yes, life is about living and whatnot, but it's also about taking agency and accountability for where those holes are, being kind to yourself because you cannot give what you do not have. And it was in your very room where I heard that saying about there's a difference from being from growth and healing. That really, and just being able to know you, my man. I know we've never met, and I look forward to the day that we do, but I want you to know, and I don't say this just because we're online, that the example that you are from all the way over there, like I've met you at a time where it's like you say, we've all worked wounded from time to time, but we all need people around us to just say, remind us that from time to time, it's okay not being okay, right? But you can't stay there. So go and do the work and do what you got to. So Dav, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all of the speakers that have gone. But I want to give a special thanks to this next powerhouse, Polly Polly Bateman is somebody who is so real, so sincere. One of those people that she doesn't speak what she doesn't know, and what she doesn't know, she does not speak on. She is somebody who, just being in her company, being able to work around her, look at what she does, think, yeah, you know what, I'm doing that really great. Hang on a second, I need to be honest with myself. I need to go and look at that. She's somebody that just speaks so powerfully, speaks so honestly, and she makes sure that she does everything that she possibly can to help her clients get their results. Polly, as a human being, I just really want to salute you and recognize you for everything that you do. People, you can read her bio, you can see it on the screen. And I don't want to use the saying, we've saved the best till last, but we have got something special for you. So Polly Bateman, it is my sincere pleasure to welcome you to the stage to take your 8 minutes.
Hey, thank you so much for that. Let's hope I can follow it. So I'm going to talk today about a client I had earlier. It was just a call from a girl who's based in Bangalore, India. And she said that she wanted some help because she had OCD and she was frightened. She had a dream that she could be a TED Talk speaker one day. And I never like to plan these things. I like to feel the energy and shoot with what comes up. So I felt after she spoke with me today that she was my gift for sharing this evening. I hope she's here because I did share the link with her. Now, I explained to her something that I want to share with you all, because your superpower is your imagination. When we are children, we are born with 3 key concerns, awarenesses, essences. We're not even conscious when these things become incredibly important to us. We are born with a sense of knowing whether we are safe or not. And that lives with us for the rest of our life. When we're a few months older, it turns into, along with that staying with us, am I loved? We know when we are, we know when we're not, even when we're babies. And somewhere within a few months to up to the 2 years of age develops, am I enough? These are not conscious, but they are known to us. Today, if you find yourself arguing over the dishwasher, trust me when you look, it will purely come down to whether you feel safe, loved, or enough. It might look like the mugs or the glasses that got loaded incorrectly, but really it's our enoughness we're defending. And I told her that her blank slate that she had as a baby, we have a basic brain as a child that is reptilian, as you most will probably know. Then as we grow, we develop the limbic brain. So the reptilian brain is only concerned with okay and not okay. It has nothing else. When you're okay, it's calm, and so are you. When it's not okay, it's not calm, and it floods your system with everything you need to run, fight, or flight, or freeze. So that in itself drives a lot of things. And the limbic brain is the emotional center that tries to make sense of all of this and handle your emotions. A cruelty for people growing up is that we don't have the prefrontal cortex until we're much, much older. We don't have a fully developed brain until we're in our early 20s. And the cortex, the neocortex develops. And this is the management center. And you can have your thoughts in here, and you can begin to manage yourself from here, but not when you're younger. And so what happens when we're younger and we feel overwhelmed and unsure, and we're not sure of our enoughness, our safety, or our lovability, is we color in with that fabulous thing that we have, our imagination. And all of you here tonight are master manifestors. And that's a hard thing to hear when you're manifesting something you don't want. But trust me, it's serving you in some way, because it's keeping you at a level or in a place that somewhere on a deep subconscious level, you maybe believe you need to be. It's part of your soul's journey. It's part of your growth. And as we color in those images of what we think is going on in the world, we then react to it emotionally. and feed it back to our reptilian brain that first made us aware of it. Oh shit, I'm not okay. And that's when we have to use the front part to kind of like consider whether we really are or not. But the front part is just our limited human being part. The part that you really want to tap into is back here, and it's called your imagination. You can only imagine and create truly from back here. If I ask you all to think now of a purple dog with pink spots, you have to shift back to think of it. Most people will raise their eyes to try and imagine it because we think in pictures. So my friends, get super responsible for the pictures that you hold. Get super responsible for what it is that you are thinking. Because the one thing no human being can ever take from you, no matter where you are and what your circumstances are, is they can never take from you your imagination. And in your imagination, you can create any world you want. You can be anyone you want. And the more you hang with your imagination, the more you be with it, the more you feel it. And when we have a thought, the thoughts we have create our feelings. Our feelings create our actions. And our actions lead through to our results in life. So if you don't like the results, go and have a look at your thoughts. Start there. Start by tidying them up. Start by playing with your imagination. Because here's a top tip. Worrying, stressing, that's just daydreaming, but it's negative daydreaming. So if you can negative daydream, then guess what? You can positive daydream. You can turn it over. You can then dream up the life you want, going the way you want. There's so much more to it in terms of actions. But if you just start from the place where life is working and you're smiling and you're happy, like my beautiful human that I was talking with today, she had OCD. I said, see yourself without it. See yourself free. See yourself doing that TED talk. And she started to be raised up. Because if it's possible in her mind, then it's possible in real life. Whether you can think it, then you can hold it. Those two come together because nobody went to the moon until we thought of it. And that's what we're capable of as human beings. We are limitless and endless possibility. So when we can't see what it is that we want, it's because we are not connected to it in some way, and it may be something that sits outside of our sphere of knowledge. But we've all been with people where we've heard them talk and gone, God, I'd love that for me. And it's maybe something you've never thought of before. Well, when you hear it and you know you would love it, then now you can put that into your imagination. You can put that into the space where you're feeling. Because everything that your reptilian brain throws up to the rest of your brain can equally be thrown back down to tell your brain, I'm okay, actually. I've got this. I'm able to focus now. I'm feeling great. And a top tip for you all, start with things that you're grateful for. Gratitude raises our vibe exponentially. And I wanted to give you tools in this talk from me. If you take 10 things that you're grateful for, you don't have to be significant. You don't have to say, I'm so grateful for my life, because sometimes we don't feel like that. Be grateful for the cat's ears. Be grateful you have all of your toes. Be grateful your life works in the ways it does work. And those 10 gratitudes will raise you up. And if you imagine and work your imaginations on the back of that, you have the space to be whatever you want. Big love. And chicken wings, whatever. That was so funny. I think that's my 8 minutes. I think I'm up, my friend.
Polly, thank you so much. And thank you all. It's been an absolutely amazing evening. Please, I do apologize. I don't want to miss anything. I've got a couple of special things that I just want to say. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you for your honesty. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Vicky, I'd like to thank you so much for trusting me this evening to bring 8 people into this space, which is your baby that I know you care so much about and has been so impactful in my life, as I'm sure it has in all of the people that have come before me. So we want to thank you wholeheartedly. And behind the scenes, a little young lady way out in the Philippines named Jane. Jane, I want to thank you so much for stringing like a conductor of an opera, all of the little pieces together. Thank you so much. And to all of you at home that have tuned in, that have shared your comments and everything, we hope you've been impacted. We hope you've been transformed. We hope you've been inspired. And most of all, we hope we've left you with hope. So I'm just going to hand over to Vicky now for an outro. And Vicky, again, thank you, and over to you.
Oh my gosh, I have to say that I've just been sat here just soaking in all of the amazingness. You know, it's just so great that when you trust the universe and when you actually know that you're finding people that are coming together purely with the intention of serving, purely with the intention of spreading hope, inspiration, and transformation, then that is exactly what happens. The magic and the energy just flows and it takes it to another level. I have just been super proud as like a mama, a mummy, as we say here in the UK, of passing my baby across to amazing special edition hosts. So you have done amazingly, Carlyle, and every single one of your speakers has touched my heart. So thank you so much to all the speakers. Thank you so much for everybody watching the live and for all the messages and the communication that we've been having in the chat. And thank you for everybody watching the replay as well. Please make sure that you subscribe to us, you follow us. And if you would like to host your own special edition of Hit Talks, where you bring your 8 speakers together, please reach out. Or if you would like to be a speaker, please, again, reach out to us, because this is how we change lives. This is how we impact, by doing it together. Our next episode is on the 4th of July, where I am going to be back in the host seat, bringing together the 8 speakers that are extremely, extremely magical again. And please join us. Please register to all of our Facebook pages and subscribe to our YouTube pages. And I really can't wait to see you on the 4th of July. And as always, just go out there and spread hope. Spread inspiration, spread transformation, because it doesn't cost anything. So I'm sending you so much love. Bye.
Oh, Vicky, thank you so much. And the people listening, I just want to leave you with this. Life is full of ups and downs. Wherever you find yourself, if you get knocked over, in the words of Dr. Eric Thomas, and you can look up, you can get up. And if you can get up, you can get out and get back on that horse and get back in the driving seat of your life. So this is it from me. My name is Carlyle, founder of CLA Coaching. If you want to know more about me, you can go to my website. It's called carlylelatty.com. I hope this impacted you. I hope it has helped. And that is it for me. Signing out. Good night.